What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Lucid Daily. And today was an absolutely insane day in the stock market. We're going to talk about exactly what happened, what caused the market to fall, and especially Lucid. And we'll talk about everything in between. And I also have a really interesting question that I want to talk to you guys about. So let's go ahead and get started. Very first off, let's go ahead and talk about the stock price action today. Lucid was down 6.4%. They are now trading for $18.67 a share. They are up just barely in the after hours this week. They are now down 2.8% today. That brought them negative on the week. And on the month, they're down 7.8%. So today was really a brutal day for EVs in general. We'll talk about why here in just a second. But they were not alone, as the broader market did also sell down. We had a jobs report that did come in kind of hot today. So I'll definitely try to talk about that tomorrow. I haven't done a ton of research into it yet. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about tomorrow that will require just a little bit more research. But I was just anxious to kind of get this video out today to you guys. So the SPY was down 1.6% today, down another 0.5% in the after hour. So we're definitely seeing a lot of pain in the broader market, not just in individual EV sectors. But where a lot of pain was felt today was in Tesla. Tesla was down 9.2% today, down another 1/3% in the after hours. Now, let's go ahead and talk about exactly why Tesla was down today. The jobs market report didn't help, but at around like 3 o'clock this morning, like 3 or 3:30, 3:40 this morning, it was a little bit before I woke up. Yes, I woke up at 3:40. I'm really tired, but it's all good. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened. So let me go ahead and pull up this tweet. Okay. So it broke by Reuters this morning that Tesla was going to freeze hiring and reduce their headcount by 10%. I'm going to go really quickly through this because most of you guys already know this. But then soon after, like, people were like, where's your source? Like, you're quoting this email, but we don't have an actual email. It wasn't long after till we got a leaked email from Elon that was to everybody. Now, I don't think that this is the original email that was sent, because Reuters specifically says that this was sent to executives. So the email that you're seeing in front of you right now is addressed to everybody from Elon. So definitely is something that I think that Elon sent a follow-up, because he heard a frenzy of I guess, chaos from employees, management. That's like, hey, what's going on? Like, are you really laying off 10% of all the employees? And he came out and said, Tesla will be reducing salaried headcount by 10% as we have become overstaffed in many areas. Note, this does not apply to anyone actually building cars, battery packs, or installing solar. Hourly headcount will increase. So this is actually, if you're invested into EVs, if you're invested into Tesla, this is actually a good thing. Now, I talk about this because this affected Lucid. And I think that I would not be surprised if something like this did happen to Lucid. Let me tell you why. So when it comes to headcount that's in salary, it's very easy for these different positions to become extra fluff, like people managers managing managers. Like, you may not need a lot of that extra fluff. However, people, like, when I first read this, I was like, oh no, does that mean like EV demand is going down? However, it's quite the opposite, because he clarified here, which this should have ultimately been like good for Tesla, which I'm a little curious as to why. Like, people are complaining about the way he went about it, but I disagree. I feel like this is like one of the most direct ways, and I'm sure Elon assumes that his emails are going to get leaked, but I still think it's kind of shallow by some of the executives to leak these emails. Anyways, if you take out a lot of the fluff, but you take that excess salary and you give it to more hourly workers to build more cars, that is what really drives the company, and that will help their production without taking anything away from what they're actually doing and losing employees that are building cars. So I just thought that was interesting. There was a couple of other things that I want to show you guys. Gary Black had a pretty good summary about what he thinks happened. So as we know, Elon Musk went to Twitter. He saw that Fremont was well under capacity, which prompted Elon's tweet that those working from home should return to work. And after that email, several thousand people returned to work, and it was chaos. He said he's talked to half a dozen Tesla employees today. Nobody is panicked. Many went through this in 2018, but this was different because because back then a lot was going wrong, and today most things are going right. Almost all are supportive of Elon's directive that those work from home go back to work. So he talked about this, which I thought it was actually a relatively good explanation, because I mean, Elon's like, hey, we want everybody back to the office, and then everybody came back to the office, and he's like, holy cow, I did not realize how many people we actually had working from home. So that's definitely one of the things that could have happened. He actually did have one more tweet in here. So I actually skipped this tweet. So they turned up at Fremont. It was chaos. There was not enough parking, desks, office space, which convinced Elon there's too many people. This was different from 2018 when 10% were fired. That was pre-planned and HR was involved. This time it wasn't. Now everybody is scrambling, trying to figure out how to proceed. So I just thought that was a very interesting explanation. And yeah, so now let's go ahead. Now that we talked about that, let's go ahead and talk about exactly how this affects Lucid. One is like Lucid going to do the same thing? Are they going to like, I know that Lucid's in the ramping phase, but does this affect them in the way that they may try to trim out some executives, like hire more hourly employees? Are they in a position like this? These are all questions that should be addressed, especially because people at first, or a lot of the media, or some media, like I've seen people on Twitter thinking that this is like the beginning of the end of Tesla, where like their demand is starting to shrink and so they have to let people go. However, it's quite the opposite. So that's probably why Lucid is down as well. And just because a lot of EVs do follow the same sectors and the same trajectories. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about a really important comment that I got this morning on my video yesterday. So the comment is, what if we are going to recession? Do you think Lucid and other stocks might plunge deep, same as 2008? So 2008 it was primarily caused by the defaults on mortgages and on houses, because the banks were giving out subprime mortgages, subprime loans that should not have been given out. However, I think I'm very that is not the leading indicator for why we may be in a recession right now. Now, let me tell you why I don't think Lucid as a company should be that worried in terms of recession. The biggest thing that would hurt Lucid in a recession is just you might have a natural attrition of demand. Like if it's like, yes, guys, we're in a recession, like everybody save money, that may be something that you start to see demand. I know I've talked about how the higher class people are not affected too much by a recession. But if their businesses aren't doing as well, if their stocks are down, like they may feel less wealthy. Not that like it doesn't impact their day to day, but they may feel slightly less wealthy. And be like, you know what? I don't need to purchase like $180,000 car, or how much ever the new prices are. So that was kind of something I've kind of revised my mind on, because they definitely feel like we all feel less wealthy when the stock market is the way it is, and we're not as apt to go to buy bigger things. Not saying that we or me or anybody like that is in a higher income tier, but I imagine they feel a lot of the same things. So the other reason on paper that I don't think Lucid will suffer during a recession within the next 6 to 8 months is because of their cash balance. We know that they have cash to get to 2023. Now, if they had 25% of the cash that they have now, I would be really worried, because if things tighten in a recession, if inflation goes up, if supply chains continue to be disrupted, and we have less reservations, less accounts billable, that is where real difficulties can come in. But the reason that I'm not really worried is because we have cash again to at least towards the end of 2023 before we have to raise money again. And I don't know how they're going to raise the money. I don't know if Saudi Arabia is going to help raise the money, if they're going to do some different kind of loan. I have no idea. That's definitely to come. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing, because I will keep you up to date on that. So that is why I'm not worried. Now, what I would like to dive through tomorrow, I can't make any promises, but I would like to figure out Lucid's cash burn, exactly how long they have, and maybe some different methods that they can raise cash. And we'll also take a look at deliveries tomorrow as well. So consider subscribing if you haven't yet. There was a small delivery update that I want to go over tomorrow with you guys. And also, if you haven't heard yet, I did start my channel memberships. I've had a couple of you guys reach out to me to be like, hey, love the channel. Is there any way we can support you? And other than my watching my videos, which I'm super grateful that you guys do, there's a join button right down below. You can click that join button and become a channel member. There's only one tier. It's like, I think it's the Dream Edition support. And you get a cool little badge of a Dream Edition. So, and if you guys want to do Q&A, I will always answer Q&A either in comments or in a video if you're a channel member. So keep that in mind. And I will put you guys in my description if you do become a channel member, just to thank you guys for your support. And if you have any ideas of any cool tiers, like maybe Saturday only videos or for members only, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But again, I appreciate your support. It's a tough market. You got to stay on your toes. I think we're starting to learn that Elon doesn't just drive the Tesla share price, but he also drives the EV share price as a whole. And you always got to stay on your toes. I've had people ask me like, hey, like, do you think it's a good time to buy Tesla or an EV company or things like that? I'm like, look, you just have to be okay with waking up in the morning and seeing a crazy message or a crazy email or a crazy thing that Elon Musk did while you were sleeping, because that's definitely what happened today. I don't think we went to bed last night waking up thinking that Elon was going to lay off 10% of Tesla. Like that, I never would have guessed that. So you just got to stay on your toes and never be over leveraged and never be over invested. But those are the two pieces of advice that I try to work on. So take that with what you will. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And like always, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.